Hi to everyone, this is Emanuele from Italy, but you know me better as Evil Dead Italia. It's hard to believe it's already 10 years since Ash vs. Evil Dead first premiered. Over that time, the Ghost Builder became like family to fans all over the world. One of the latest additions, stepping into the story as Brandy Barr, quickly won everyone else, bringing depth, strength, and emotion to the series. We are really excited to have here with us today Arielle Carver-O'Neill. Hello, Arielle.
Hi. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, and you? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much. Well done saying my name. It's quite a mouthful, that one.
It's correct. My spelling
Yeah,
is
no, it
correct.
was perfect. Perfect execution. Smashed it.
That's great. That's great. Because I am Italian and my English sucks. So
Oh
I.
my gosh, you can speak more than one language. You're doing way better than me already.
Thank you. Thank you. So first of all, thank you for being here with us in this series to bring the highlight on the 10th anniversary of Ash vs. Evil Dead.
So thank you.
Obviously, I have some questions for you. Okay.
Yes.
So the first one is: it's been 10 years since Ash vs. Evil Dead first hit screens. I know you joined it later, but how does it feel looking back at the series now?
Gosh, it's wild. I mean, I only joined a couple of years after, so it's still looking back being like, it's been 8 years. That's gone so fast. I look back at it with the fondest of memories. It was just such a huge, life-changing experience for me in particular. It was my first time being a lead in a series at all, let alone for it to be something as incredible as that. So it felt very formative, and it kind of, like a second schooling, I guess. I learned so much and gained some incredible mentors and friends, and I'm just really grateful for that experience. So I look back at it with it makes me really happy. I just can't believe it's been that long.
No. And we were happy to have you in the series. So
I hope so. It felt risky at the time.
oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And talking about the time, can you tell us about the casting process for Brandy? What was your reaction when you found out you got the role?
I'd auditioned via self-tape just from my lounge room in Australia. And then a little while later, I can't remember how long it was now, but I think it was definitely a few weeks, if not maybe a month. I got a call from my manager in the States, and he told me that they wanted to fly me to New Zealand to do a screen test, which was really exciting. That in itself, for me, was a win. So I was already really happy no matter what else happened from there on out. And then when I got to New Zealand, I met our line producer, Moira. I met Rob and Rick. And it was just, they showed me around the studio, and they were introducing me to everyone, costume and the art department and things. And I was just thinking, God, this is going to be so awkward if I don't get this, because I'm meeting everybody. And everyone was so lovely. It was really exciting. I got to see some of the sets. I got to see the high school set being built, because it was still being built at the time, and some of the concepts for costume, which was amazing, and concepts for monsters and things like that were going to come through in season 3. So that was just such a cool thing to witness. And then I had my audition with Rick and casting in New Zealand. And then guessing they sent it off to the studio. It got the all clear. The next morning, I was back in Australia, and I got a phone call from my agent in Australia and my manager in the US, both telling me that I got it. And I was in the car at the time, had to pull over, jump out, and actually jump up and down because I was just so happy, and I wasn't really expecting it. I didn't want to assume anything was going to go my way. And then it did, and it just felt phenomenal. I loved that feeling. It was a lot of adrenaline, hence the jumping up and down. I had to expel some energy.
I can figure it. And how long is the travel from Australia to New Zealand?
It's not too bad. It's about 4.5 hours, I think it was. I was in Sydney, from Sydney to Auckland, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay, I was thinking it was more short, but for
yeah,
hours,
it seems like it would be, but
wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Talking about your character, Brandy starts off as a regular teenager, but quickly gets thrown into the wild, bloody world. How did you approach that transformation in your performance? And moreover, what aspects of Brandy do you feel most connected to you personally?
Wow. That's a really good question. With connecting with her personally, I think the fact that we were both so new to this world. So I'd never done anything that was horror before as an actor. I'd never done anything with special effects or visual effects quite like that. Or, I was doing wire work and just reverse shots where you act it out in reverse and then they play the footage so it looks like when you're stabbing a deadite, you're actually stabbing them with force. So I'd never done anything like those things before and hadn't had the opportunity to do fight choreography. So I feel like Brandy and I were both learning a lot at the same time. We were both learning how to navigate this whole new world. For her, it was life and death. For me, it was really fun. So I think that was probably the big difference. But we were both definitely experiencing something in both of our journeys that was brand new to both of us. And the stakes did feel high because it was my first lead role in a series and my first time being in a US production. So it had gravitas.
Wow.
Yeah. And what was the first half of the question? I've already forgotten.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, don't be. That was all my brain.
It was a long question. Yeah. How did you approach the transformation in your performance?
Oh, yeah.
The fact that at the beginning you are not connected to the world of Evil Dead, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the way I talked with Bruce about it and things, and we kind of talked a lot about it coming down to truth. Even though you're in this world that feels crazy and feels over the top and super intense, and it is like sci-fi and horror fantasy. So it's not necessarily set in reality. You have to find the reality and the truth in it. So connecting to this girl who, when you're a teenager, everything is life and death, but you're also very resilient and very adaptable. And so even though she's experiencing all this stuff and she's grieving the loss of her mother and the loss of the life that she knew and her best friend and the world that she grew up in up until that point, and then her one, in her one seemingly person or friend left, Ms. Previtt ends up being a horrible demon. Spoilers, but you probably should have seen it by now. Yeah, so she's kind of losing everything, but because she's young, she's very adaptable, she's very resilient. It kind of feels like she makes things work for her pretty quickly as she goes along, but it always came down to that kind of truth. Because she loses everything, what she gains, she's really appreciative for and very dedicated to, and becomes fiercely defensive of her new family once she accepts them. So we kind of brought it down to that truth, because it is a fast transition. It happens. There's no time in a 10 episode series where they're all half an hour, to have that journey happen a bit slower. So it was pretty fast, but just kind of reminding myself of where she was at emotionally really helped keep track of that.
How long the filming took? I mean, it was fast. It was some months.
Yeah, it was many. It was I think we were filming for like 3 months to 4 months in the end. And I worked a lot. It was definitely, I was doing 14-hour days. And there was a month in there where we had to also shoot Saturdays. So there was a while where I was doing like 6 days a week, 14-hour days. But like I was so happy. I was just really happy to be there. So it kind of feels like it went really fast, even though, if that was I guess my muggle job, I would have been really feeling the amount of time that took. But at the time, it just was a blur of excitement and fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the fourth question. Ash vs. Evil Dead is famous for its over-the-top practical gore. What was like working with so many practical effects on set? And did it make the experience more immersive for you as an actor? And even the stunts were complex. Did you work with a lot of stuntmen?
Oh yeah, the gore. Oh, the gore. It was I'd never worked like that before, so it was phenomenal. It definitely makes it easier as the actor to react to what's around you if you actually have the things around you. So getting sprayed by a blood cannon, it's not that hard to feel. The adrenaline, because you genuinely do feel the adrenaline. It's incredibly loud, so you're like waiting for it to hit, and to kind of immerse yourself in that world. When the world around you, they did such a beautiful job. The art department were just incredible. The VFX were phenomenal. So it all felt really real for something that is so heightened and so, fantastical on the screen. When you're in the house, like Ash's house, it feels like you're in a real house. So the whole world around you is pretty real, which just makes it so much easier to kind of get into that space. The VFX, it was so funny. Every time we'd have a table read, because I think it was like every week we'd have a table read with the next week's episode we were filming. And every table read, it would say in the script, Brandy gets covered in blood and viscera. And I was like, all right, here we go again. We're going to do another one. And it was amazing to watch them like come up with all the different ways in which she can just get like absolutely bombarded by blood and guts. It was really fun. I think the worst / most crazy one was kind of the one that seems the smallest, which was there's a scene, I think it's episode 9 or 10, where she's lying down because a deadite comes and like jumps and then pushes her, like knocks her to the ground. And they just had the camera like right here in front of my face. And I'm lying on the ground, and then just next to the camera is the guy with the blood cannon. And he's just very excited, ready to go. And I was just looking at a little X just above the lens. And that was the deadite's head exploding that I was meant to be reacting to. And it was just Rick Jacobson yelling, all right, you're looking at him, there's something weird about his face. All right, it's getting weirder. Why is it growing? It looks like his face is going to blow up. I think his head's going to blow up. Okay, now scream. And so I screamed. And then he was like, and then the blood cannon hit, and it just hit me right at the back of the throat. So that when I say, am I allowed to swear? Is that okay?
Sorry?
Is swearing okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. When I say what the fuck, that's my genuine reaction, because that was the only take we had. So that's my yeah, thank God I kept the accent when I said that. Well, I hope I did, because like it was just the genuine reaction of what the fuck, because it just went
But,
Mid scream as well. No, not great.
I know there were different consistency, thickness of blood. What
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of blood was that?
I think that was just like the syrup kind. So they all usually tasted pretty like sickly sweet. To me, it tasted like sugar that had gone off, or corn syrup that had been sitting, in a basement or a bunker for far too long or something. And I think it was that one. And so it wasn't too bad. It wasn't like the slimy blood, which is good. So yeah, thank goodness. It was pretty watery. But that was intense. And then I think my first one was my other favorite, where it was Lee Majors getting cut up with a chainsaw. And it was just a waterfall of blood, which was a beautiful introduction, I think, to it all. It was pretty great. I loved it. I mean, what else did we... The other great thing was we ended up not needing it, but I got a full head shoulder cast done, where they take a silicone mold. I think it was just because they didn't know if or how I would die in the season. So just in case they needed to be able to make a fake me, but ended up not needing it. But that was a pretty crazy experience. They cover you in silicone and you just have like little holes for your nose to breathe. And then they would cover the silicone in plaster, and you'd feel it harden around like your head and your face, and your eyes are closed, your mouth is closed. And it was just phenomenal experience in like meditative states. It was like I could either panic or I could just focus on breathing and try and stay calm.
Okay, so it's a little scary, this part.
That was a little scary. That was before we filmed. It was a little scary, but I think I handled it well.
And I remember there is a scene where your finger gets cut.
Oh, yeah, my thumb.
Yeah.
Yes, my thumb. I do lose my thumb. That was also cool. They had a fake hand that I had attached to me, and then I like lift that up and react to the blood spurting out. That was pretty cool. And we had to redo that blood cannon actually a few times. Not of the thumb, but of that scene where she has the hallucination of her cutting off her hand, because it wasn't looking quite right. So that one I actually did quite a few times, and that was a lot. But I love that shed scene. That was so much fun to do. And the VFX of having the demon phone, it was a puppet.
Yeah,
so
I was about okay.
Yeah, that was really cool. Getting to react to that was really fun. And then you know exactly what it's going to look like, because I feel sometimes when you do these sorts of things, they'll just give you a concept drawing and then use, a tennis ball on a stick, or a human in a green suit or something, and you actually don't know what it's going to look like really. And it can end up being very different by the time it gets to post-production from the concept drawing that you saw. So I got to actually have the demon phone with me, which really helps. It just makes things feel so much more real.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And they did a great job. It looked disgusting in person.
Yeah, it's even fun. I remember it was pretty fun.
It was just gross. They did phenomenal work.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking back, what was the most moving or emotional moment for you while filming this series, if any, obviously?
Oh, man. I think when it finished, to be honest. Like when it was the last day of filming was also my last day of filming. So I was there right up until the end, and knowing that, we didn't know if we were coming back or not. And in this career, you kind of, you hope for the best, but you plan for the worst. So it was kind of preparing to not be back there again and see all these incredible people that I've just spent like all day, every day for 4 months with. I think it was really emotional saying goodbye, and also feeling like I only just got started with Brandy. We had so many ideas of where we could take her and where she could go. And we felt like, it for me felt like that was the beginning of her journey really at the end there. Like it was just getting exciting. So it was probably ending and saying goodbye to that. That was the saddest part. Yeah.
Do you remember what was your last take? Your last
Yeah.
show?
It was redoing, it was in the shed. It was redoing that blood cannon for the cutting off the hand sequence.
Okay.
Yeah, so we redid that and added that onto the end to get that a bit better. Get that angle right on the blood spatter. So yeah, that was the last one. I do have a little I made those 1 second everyday videos where you film 1 second of footage. I made one of those throughout the filming. And the end of that is me covered in blood and having just filmed that scene, and Dana's filming it. And it's like, that's a wrap. And then I'm like, oh. So sad. But I'm holding a towel and I'm covered in blood. And it's just... I was like, no, I wasn't ready for my last blood cannon ever. But it was fitting that my last scene had a blood cannon in it. That made sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had a lot of scenes with Bruce Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing you learned from working with him or with other actor on the set? I mean,
something I learned.
Yeah. If anything.
Oh yeah. No, I learned heaps. God, it was like school, to be honest. Like watching these incredible actors work. Dana, and who's just phenomenal. She's balls to the wall. Like she's just incredible. And Bruce, who's just such a master of what he does. He just walks on, smashes it. I mean, he knows his character very well. He's been playing for him for a very long time. But it was phenomenal to watch. And Lucy is just the most iconic person and loveliest person. And I grew up watching her. I was obsessed with Xena when I was a kid. So watching like someone that was an idol for me growing up and working with them was just, I feel like you don't get that much in life. So that was pretty cool. But I learned, Bruce actually taught me a lesson very early on before we even started filming where, and I have this embroidered on, I have a little memorabilia jacket. I'm very sentimental. I love things like that. And I have his quote that he told me, which it was the first time we'd met and we were in the production office. It was before the first table read, before anything. I just happened to be there, and then Bruce just happened to pop in, and they were like, "Oh, we'll introduce you now." And so I met him, and then he was like, "Oh, congratulations! Like, loved your tapes. Really excited to work together." And then we were just having a bit of a chat, and he was like, "You know, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Just make sure you're having fun." And I think that's advice that I've carried into every job that I've ever had, because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You can't control what's going to happen in the editing suite or in post-production. Like I've worked on stuff where I've watched it and then realized that like my scene's been cut. Things like that. Like you just never know what the result is. That's not actually in your control. What is most of the time in your control, there are exceptions, of course, is the experience that you have. And that was just a wild, like, life experience that I'll cherish forever. And I'm really glad that I listened to him. And I'm very glad that he gave me that advice, because that's something that has come in handy for any job I've had ever.
It's a very clever, suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's something actors work so hard all the time to book anything. And, you know, there's all the things you haven't booked behind the thing that you finally get a yes to. So it also just, it's a reminder of the gratitude for being there and the gratitude for the opportunity and really enjoying it while it's happening and enjoying being on set while you're there. So yeah, that was good advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For everything, everyday work, every kind of work. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's the life is a string of experiences together, and you know, when you get something good, you got to enjoy it.
yeah. I fully agree. I fully agree.
Yeah.
Okay. How was the dynamic with the rest of the cast, especially in those high intensity action heavy sequences?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, you go a bit delirious. So I feel like nothing brings people together more than just being stuck in like a caravan, for example, like me and Dana, stuck in a caravan for days on end, like very, very long days, just feeling a bit loopy by the end of it. You know, you get a bit weird. But everyone got along really well. It was like a big family. I got a card from the production team and Bruce as well when I started, and it said, "Welcome to the Evil Dead family." And it really felt like that. It really felt like a family. Everyone was so supportive, so kind, and a lot of fun, because it's, you know, a lot of big personalities. So we had a lot of good laughs.
Talking about the action, how many stunts you did by your own, and how many stuntsmen did the job with you? I mean,
Oh yeah.
how many choreographies?
I think I only had one fight sequence. This is the crazy thing about my schedule at the time, was that there just wasn't any time for me to have stunt training or choreography training. So everything was just felt very immediate. I had the most incredible stunt double, Bronte Coluccio. She's amazing. And she just I am so grateful for her. She does phenomenal things, and she makes me look really cool. So she was doing a lot of it just because there wasn't time for me to do the necessary training and things like that. Like, she fell from windows onto roofs, and like many fights and many falls. It was great. But the one fight sequence I had was with a great stunt performer. I think he called himself Cheese, which is an odd name. And that was in the sewers in the final 2 episodes.
Okay. So the one with the golden.
The gold dress, yeah. And it's when I stab him in the crotch with the dagger that's actually behind you, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the other side. Okay.
Yeah. I stab him with that in the crotch. And that was fun. I got to do that. That was really cool. And then a lot of it was just running. There was so much running. And a bit of there was a few reverse shots, which were really fun. So there's one where a Deadite is trying to get through a door, and it's closed on his face. And we did a reverse shot of me pulling the dagger out of his mouth. But, you know, when it played in the show, it looks like I'm stabbing him in the mouth. So that was shot in reverse, which was really cool. I loved that. That was fun.
How much did the dice were digital, and how much they were practical in terms of masks or faces? I mean, they are really disgusting on this.
Oh yeah, you'd see them sitting at lunch, and I'm kind of just like, I'm not very hungry now, am I? This is a bit gross. But they got these long, and their fingers are because it's all latex and silicone, it's squishy, and so you'd see them bend. Their fingernails bend when they're eating their food, and it was just a bit yuck. But I mean, well done to them for being in it, because it's very claustrophobic. But the worst was definitely when Ray was a Deadite, and he crashes through the car, and he's just he's got a hand on my throat, and I can just feel squishy nails, and then hand on my face and stuff, and you're just like, ugh. It wasn't hard to act disgusted.
Did you love horror before filming this?
I actually didn't. This is the other thing I got from the show. I got so much from it, and now I have a love for horror and thrillers, which I didn't have before. I had a nightmare watching. I was like 12 or 13, and I was watching. Oh my God. One moment. Lights have turned off on me. Sorry about that.
It's like the beginning of an horror movie.
It was really scary. Just in pitch black all of a sudden. I didn't like it. Anyway, I had a nightmare when I was 12 or 13 after watching Scary Movie at a friend's house. And that's supposed to be a spoof. And everyone around me at school thought it was really funny, but I couldn't sleep for a week. And I kept having nightmares about this comedy movie. So from then on, I just assumed I can't do horror. Horror's not for me. I don't have the stomach for it, obviously. I was like, I'm a chicken. And then I booked the show, and I got the test, and I was like, I should probably watch it. And I did, and I actually got hooked, and I finished like all of the first 2 seasons in 2 days. It was great. And I think what's fantastic about this show in particular is that because it's a horror comedy, it feels like accessible horror for people who aren't normally horror fans as well. Like, you get the satisfaction of all the, like, you know, the horror tropes and the fun like horror like traditional elements that are always in horror and all those sorts of things. You get all of that. You get the gore and all that fun stuff, but the comedy kind of makes it fun as opposed to too scary. So for people like me who were pretty much new to horror watching the show, it was a great introduction. And then ever since then, I've been watching, you know, all the horror stuff. So,
did you watch the original movies before the series?
I watched the original movies after I watched the series. To be honest, I found them very scary, especially the first one. Yeah. That was frightening. I did have to watch some bits in fast forward just because I was really scared. I was still pretty new to it then. I became to rewatch them now, you know, 8 years later. Gosh, I became to rewatch them now and kind of see how I go with them. But I found that first one real scary. It was terrifying. I know that people found it funny, and Dana agrees. We both talked about it. We both found it really frightening, that first film. I think they did a good job of making the scary.
Yeah. There are a lot of torture to the actors, so probably they are even really scared.
Yeah.
Talking about the Evil Dead universe, if you had the chance to return to it, would you be up for it? Or
100%. I'd be there in 2 seconds. Ask me. Someone ask me. I would love to. I've been really wanting to get back into the horror world as well. And if it was not only the horror world but the Evil Dead world, I would just love that. Like, I just feel like my time in it was cut short, and I feel a bit sad about that, and I would just love to go back. It'd be fun. Even if not Brandy, even if someone else. I don't know how that would work, but it would just be nice to be in that world again, to be honest. It would be really fun, kind of like going home. And then I have also started a production company with some friends in the past 2 years, and we've started actually making horror. So I'm fully committed to the horror thing now.
Wow.
So yeah, we've made a crime thriller and then a faux true crime documentary, which we're entering into festivals now. So really excited to see how those go, and it's really nice to just be back in the horror space again. It's such a great place.
I was going to ask you how we can see these works, but if they are on the festival,
not yet. So we've just started the festival runs, which means we have to wait until they accept it and they've premiered, because a lot of the festivals have terms where you can't be showing it elsewhere.
Yeah, it makes sense.
to be eligible for it. So once that run is over, we can then release them, put them online for anybody and everybody to enjoy. But until then, got to keep it on the down low, unfortunately.
And you, since the company, you are, let's say, a founder of this company. You act, you direct.
One of them. I produce. I've started producing, which sounds weird. But yes, I've started producing now. So I'm one of the co-founders. It's myself, Jessica Yates, Georgie Jennings, and Jessie Boomer. We're all actors. Jessie's also a screenwriter. And it's just been really great. It's kind of given us a creative outlet that's within our control. And it's been phenomenal. It's been so much fun. A lot of hard work, but a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what we can do next. Because we're now in the space where we've made 2 short films, we've proven to ourselves, and we've got some footage that we can do it. And now pitching ideas for bigger things. So he's hoping for a horror feature on the horizon.
Yeah,
that we can make. That would be great.
Finger crossed.
Yeah.
And everything you do everything in Australia. You move.
At the moment, somewhere. Yeah. I was living in LA in 2019, and I loved living there at the time. But back in Australia since obviously COVID. So yeah, I've been back here ever since, and that's where we all live. We're all here in Oz, so we just make everything here. We don't have any money yet, so once we get money, we can film things elsewhere.
It makes full sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's great about horror is it can be relatively cheap to make. So
Yeah.
It's a great thing for budding filmmakers or people wanting to make things with lower budgets. It's a great creative space to be in for that reason.
And the thing we are talking about is very cool about the last question, because outside Evil Dead, what project or role excites you most at this stage in your career? I mean, you are full on producing, you are even accepting roles outside your company, let's say.
Yeah.
You work at, I see you work at something else in a comedy. If I'm not wrong, I don't remember the title. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, I have been dabbling in the comedies, which is really fun. I guess I'd just love something ongoing. It'd be really, it's so funny as you grow older, you kind of just would love. It's like the less flash in the pan experiences. I'd love something like, I'd love to work with a group of people for years. It'd be really nice. So I'd love to get back into TV space for that reason. It'd be really nice to do another show and something with multiple seasons that I can really sink my teeth into, and I can really grow the character over a longer period of time, as opposed to having, a shorter feature film length or just one season amount of time with them. It'd be really cool to have something that I could really go on a full growth journey with a character. That would be pretty phenomenal.
Wow, that's great. Hopefully we are going to see you soon somewhere.
I hope so. That'd be nice.
And this question came up while we were talking, because I have this memory. I remember you did art. You did some art. You have an Instagram page for.
I did.
You still do it? You
not so much anymore. It was more, that was something I could do, during lockdown. It gave me something creative to do while things were just so quiet. And I do love drawing. I think what's wild is, like, sometimes there was, especially during COVID, I feel this culture of turning any hobby into an income stream. And I did try to do that, but I kind of fell out of love with drawing because of it. So I didn't enjoy it anymore. It became then a chore. So I feel like that hobby in particular was something I just need to do for the love of it. And it's not necessarily compatible with a business mindset for me personally. I think there are a lot of hobbies that can translate really well. But for me in particular, I was like, wow, I'm really not, like, I'm not wanting to sit there and draw for hours anymore. And I just kind of looked at why, and I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe it's because I'm trying to force myself to make this into a business.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not meant to be, and that's actually okay if I just do it because I love doing it. So yeah, I went back to that. But I still have a lot of prints that I need to get rid of, to be honest. I printed so many.
And they were digital or even on real?
Yeah, I did pen and paper, and then I would scan it and then like clean it up on a digital pad, and then had them printed. Yeah. So I had a lot of copies printed though, and I've been carting them around, moving house several times. It's like big bundles of paper, and I'm like, someone just take them. Yeah, but I think it was a great lockdown thing to have. Like, it helped out financially, but it also just gave me something that I loved doing to focus on. So it was great. It served a really, really great purpose at that time.
Yeah. I feel
that.
Yeah. And another, this is a stupid question, I know. As I am I am a collector.
Yeah.
I have the Stance dress of the season final. Yeah. But
you do?
One. Yeah, I have even the the pendant.
Oh my God! And that's so cool.
I'm still working because, as you can see, this is a work in progress in my studio. And
I mean, yeah, it looks. I can see it behind you. It's very cool.
Yeah, I'm going to have. I have this, let's say, big wall with window, and I want to put their mannequin with costumes because I have
cool.
the Brandy costume and the Dalton costume. So
cool.
And so the stupid question is, did you took something as from the production for yourself to keep it?
I did. I wish I took more, to be honest. Now that because at the time I was like, oh, just in case we come back, I won't be naughty. I won't be cheeky. But obviously now, hindsight 2020, I wish I took more. I wish I took some of Brandy's Doc Martens. She had really cool Doc Martens, and they were broken in, which is a big deal. So I'm sad I didn't take any of those, but I did take two things. I took one pair of jeans, which are the patchwork jeans that she wears. And then I also have the leather jacket that goes with the gold dress with the snake on it. There were lots of those they made many of those leather jackets for me because they just kept getting covered in stuff. So get covered in blood and it would stain sometimes. So I kept one of the jackets, which was, I'm really glad that I did that because I did R about it.
Have you ever used that outside work?
Oh yeah, I actually wore it. I wore it to the Eras tour. I went to see Taylor Swift at the Eras tour in Sydney, and I wore it there because I was dressed as the Reputation era, which has a snake in it. So I was like, this is perfect. But I've also just kind of worn it out a couple of times. I never wore it for the first few years. I was very scared to wear it anywhere because it was very precious. And it still is precious, but at the same time, I'm like, well, if it's just sitting in my wardrobe and I never like look at it, or it's not sparking joy. So I do wear it occasionally, and it does make me very happy.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So, thanks a lot, Arielle.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.
It's been amazing hearing your stories and looking back at Ash vs. Evil Dead with you. Brandy Barr, your character, will always be remembered as a big part of Ghost Beater and of what made the show so special. We really appreciate your time, and it's been great having you with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been really beautiful for me too. I've really enjoyed getting to talk about it again, and I've just loved it. It was a lovely, lovely time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So, goodbye.
Bye.
hi to everyone.